Today we're joined by Tim Goering, absolutely amazing Sandler trainer, mentor of mine from Palm Beach, Florida. Hey, Tim, in addition to you being a rock star Sandler trainer, you were also a Marine.
Once a Marine, always Marine, Nema.
Okay, fair enough, but can you handle the truth? I think I'll just start the interview. Tim, in Sandler, we have the behavior, attitude, technique triangle. How do you feel like the BAT triangle factors in right now?
That's a fantastic question, Nema. I've always kind of thought of it as, behaviors down in that lower left-hand corner, techniques down in the lower right-hand corner. Techniques pretty much staying the same right now. But that attitude piece up top, I almost think that entire triangle should be turned upside down with that apex, that pointy end pointing down, because attitude is the foundation. And I think right now, even if you're tight on your attitude about yourself and about your company, you've got to be a little scared of the current market conditions. And I think for most people, that's driving behavior. And specifically what I mean is they're not doing their daily cookbook. They had a plan, and that whole plan, no matter what your plan was in January, I don't care what business you're in, it's different now. So if you're not fine tuning that plan and then attacking it with the same discipline and vitality and guts that you were attacking your original plan, then you're probably not seeing the results that you want. There's trouble.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I have to assume there's got to be some sort of change right now. And we talk about in Sandler that having a cookbook, having a behavioral plan. So is the behavioral plan changing right now in your mind?
I think your cookbook, it could be argued, needs to change. But I think if you don't change your attitude first, then you won't attack that new business plan. You won't attack that new cookbook, those new set of behaviors with the vigor that you need to see success. There are a lot of people that are waiting for information, waiting for people to call, waiting for people to recover. And that waiting game is not a next step. It's not an action plan. So what they really need to do is they got to change that unproductive thought first.
So that's not easy for most people, right? Changing attitude is difficult. One of my favorite books from the last few years was by Todd Herman, The Alter Ego Effect. And he talks about creating kind of an alter ego of yourself. And I think that speaks to this idea of attitude change being difficult. So are there suggestions that you can make for how someone can change their attitude during this time?
Well, if I could steal something from the Sandler curriculum that, by the way, was stolen from a bunch of psychologists from the end of the time, I call it the productive thought continuum. So maybe if you want to role play this, Nema, I could ask you 7 questions, and we can see if we can unwind those unproductive thoughts with you pretending like you have these unproductive thoughts. Because I'm sure you don't have them, but other people might.
Not me, of course. But yeah, I'm happy to play. Let's do it. It sounds fun.
So what do you think is the most unproductive thought that people have right now?
That I probably can't sell anything in this market.
Yeah. So question number 1 is, why do you think that way, Nema?
Well, because things are tough right now, and businesses are in a tough place, and they're cutting their budgets and freezing hiring.
Yeah. Well, let's go with you might be right? But let's, just for the sake of argument, let's assume that the opposite was true. This is question number 2. How would you act differently if that wasn't the case?
Well, if that wasn't the case, I would probably be doing the behaviors, prospecting during this time, making the calls, doing the LinkedIn prospecting, and almost operating as if we were in the times that were a month, 2 months ago.
I think that'd be pretty productive. And for the sake of argument, what benefit do you think that would have if you were still doing that?
Well, I mean, the benefit is I would have more activity. I would have more, if not prospects, I have more suspects. I'd probably have more conversations, and I'd have more opportunity at the top of my funnel.
I think you're probably right. And just for the sake of argument on question number 4 here, because I really don't want to discount the idea that you're having these thoughts are real, is what's the worst possible thing that could happen if you changed your behaviors, but you kept on diligently attacking your business as if your business depended on it? What's the worst possible thing that could happen?
Well, worst possible thing, assuming that nothing changed, that I'd kind of be in the same place I am right now.
I think you're right. So question number 5 is, what's the best thing that could happen?
Well, best thing is maybe what I thought was true isn't true, and I end up with a bunch of prospects, conversations that I'm having that could lead to business.
Yeah, that does sound real. So question number 6 is, how would that outcome, if it became reality, how would that impact your results? How would that impact your year, 2020?
Well, I think from a very tangible way, it would impact my year because I would be growing my business substantially. I would be positioned well for right now and even stronger for when this situation is resuming back to something that resembles normalcy, whether that's a month, 2 months, 6 months from now.
Yeah. And the last question is, well, let's say the worst case scenario did happen. Could you live with that?
Well, I mean, I think using this example, I can live with it because maybe I'm already living with it now. And so it's doesn't really change too much. I'm kind of back where I was already.
Yeah, I think you're right. So if you want to change what you achieve, you've got to first change what you believe. And then you got to take actions commensurate with that. And then you're going to get different results, and you're going to get those feelings that you were looking for in the first place. And what I love about this particular questioning strategy is those are all your ideas. I didn't tell you what you should do. There's plenty of people telling you what you should do. I just asked you some questions, and you told me some pretty good ideas that, quite frankly, I think you're a genius. I think you should refine your cookbook because you said you should. And I think that if you executed on that, you might find that result you were looking for. And quite frankly, you might become my hero and mentor. So congratulations, Nema. I think you got some good ideas.
Well, I thought I was already your hero. Is that not? Did I make that part up?
Until those Marine comments in the beginning, I think you were kind of on a roll. Yeah.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I love it because it's the belief wheel in a way. It's helping to work through some of these unproductive thoughts that we have, and it's a really, really great technique that then drives behavior to change attitude. And as we know, behavior drives attitude, and attitude reinforces behavior. So, thanks so much, Tim, for your time.
Drop and give me 50, Nema.
Maybe 5. Is
Fair enough.